For every trigonometric function, there will be an inverse trigonometric function defined in a particular domain and range which you are going to study in inverse trigonometric function. Whatever the concepts in geometry you have learnt in two-dimensional. So in your first PUC, there was given an introduction to 3D geometry. Now using 3D geometry, that is three-dimensional, you can clearly choose only 6 questions here and study it thoroughly and just attend only 6 questions. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. This is Shruti, lecturer in Vidyashram, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. So in this session, we are going to introduce to the syllabus of your second PUC, Mathematics. So let's see the topics for discussion in today's session. So in today's session, we are going to see what is the textbook preferred for your second PUC Mathematics syllabus. So, and the syllabus and weightage in part 1 textbook, syllabus and weightage in part 2 textbook, and the pattern of your question paper, that is your annual question paper, and blueprint. That is, what are the type of question from each chapters and how many marks or weightage given to each content or unit in the chapter. So, now, what is the necessary of studying this second PUC mathematics syllabus? The concepts or units you are going to study in your PUC helps you for your engineering mathematics as well as for your higher degree courses also. So this forms a complete basic foundation. The concept mainly differentiation, integration, and where you will be studying clearly about the function helps you study in detail about these concepts in your higher studies also. Now, let's see the textbook for your preference. So, these are the textbook prescribed from the Pre-University Board of Karnataka. So, you have 2 textbooks, that is part 1 and part 2. So, part 1 textbook and this is part 2 textbook, and here is an exemplar problem for second PUC which helps you to solve MCQ types of questions for CET as well as JEE purpose. So, it is clearly given unit-wise the important concepts and shortcut methods to follow MCQs which helps you study exemplar problem. Again, this is also prescribed by the Pre-University Board of Karnataka. Along with this, you have a Vidyashram study material which helps you to clearly analyze and study, plan smartly about your second PUC mathematics which helps you to score centum in your mathematics syllabus. Now, let us see the part 1 textbook. What are the contents related or given in part 1 textbook? The very first chapter is relations and function. The second chapter is inverse trigonometric function. Relations and functions you have already studied in your first PUC which forms a basic, and here you are going to study about the types of relations as well as types of function which helps you to learn more about the domain and range concept by analyzing the types of relations and function. And inverse trigonometric functions. So after learning the types of function, we analyze about the inverse functions also. So for every trigonometric function, there will be an inverse trigonometric function defined in a particular domain and range which you are going to study in inverse trigonometric function. And the third chapter is matrices and fourth chapter is determinant. So these two are related. Learning matrices is more important to study about determinants also. Next is continuity and differentiability, that is purely about the calculus part. So to study continuity and differentiability, you should be thorough of these 2 chapters because the problems are related from the domain and range of the given function, and differentiability of inverse trigonometric function is also there. That is why studying inverse trigonometric functions is also necessary. And once you study about the continuity and differentiability of a given function, we are going to study about the application of derivatives. That is, after studying this chapter, you will be able to approximate given values. You will be able to understand the rate measure, that is volume area, how to calculate when it is in the change mode. And other part of this, you will be able to learn how the function is increasing or decreasing, or to find the maximum or minimum value of a given function. That and all you will be able to study in the chapter Applications of Derivative. Thus, you can clearly see the chapters are related to one another. So, once you study the concepts of the first two chapters, you are able to study the last, that is 5th and 6th chapter clearly. And matrices and determinants are related to each other, which you should concentrate. Now let's see the number of teaching hours prescribed here, and the total marks from each chapter is given. Thus from part 1 textbook, here number of teaching hours for relations and functions is 11, and you will get 11 marks in your question paper, that is in your annual examination paper. You will get 11 marks from the chapter relations and function. And inverse trigonometric function, 8 hours of chapter, and you will be having 8 marks from this chapter. Next is matrices. From the chapter matrices, it's an 8 hours chapter, and here the marks awarded for it is 9 marks. Next is determinants. So determinants is a 13 hours chapter, and the marks is 12. Continuity and differentiability is for 20 marks, and it is a 19 hours of teaching hours. So this is the maximum number of marks given in your part 1 textbook. So from differentiability, you will be getting 20 marks from this chapter, and learning application of derivatives helps you to gain 10 marks, because the question paper contains 10 marks from the chapter Application of Derivatives, and it's 11 hours of teaching hours. So in total, your part 1 textbook has 70 hours of teaching hours, and it contains 70 marks. This is how the marks and number of teaching hours distributed here. So next is your part 2 textbook. Part 2 textbook, here you have 7 chapters. That is, the first chapter is integral. So let's see there. So once you know about the differentiation, you can able to calculate the integral value of the given functions. So here the very first chapter in your part 2 textbook is integrals. Next is application of integrals. That is, under the areas, you are going to calculate the area under the curves or lines. And here you have differential equation, which needs the concept of both differentiation as well as integration. And next is the vector algebra. So here you are going to clearly learn about the vectors, scalars, and their products, addition of vectors, and other operations in vectors. Next is 3-dimensional geometry here. So until here, whatever the concepts in geometry you have learnt in 2-dimensional. So in your first PUC, there was given an introduction to 3D geometry. Now using 3D geometry, that is 3-dimensional, we are going to learn about the formulas related to lines and the applications of 3D geometry. The next chapter is linear programming. So here you are going to analyze the concepts of graph here. So here we are going to use only 2-dimensional. So this is one of the easiest chapter where you can learn it easily. Next is probability. So the concept of probability is already introduced in your first PUC, and you will be learning the extended versions, that is some more theorems related to probability in this year. Now let's see the number of teaching hours and total marks for this chapter. So now for integrals, it's a 21 hours of teaching hours, and this is the maximum marks where the part 2 section is given, that is for 22 marks. So the integral chapter is given for 22 marks. Next is application of integrals is 8 marks. Next is differential equation. So from differential equation is a 9 hours chapter, and you will be having 10 marks for this chapter. And next is vector algebra. Vector algebra is again 11 hours chapter, and 11 marks is given in your question paper. Next is 3D geometry. So learning few theorems in 3-dimensional geometry helps you to gain marks easily. So it's a 12 hours chapter, and 11 marks is given in your question paper. So from linear programming, so there will be 7 hours of teaching and 7 marks. That is, you will be having 1 plus 6 marks from this chapter. The last one is probability. So that is, it is a 12 hours of teaching hours, and 11 marks is awarded in your question paper. So thus, the total number of teaching hours for part 2 textbook is 80, and the total marks awarded is 80. Now, let's analyze the both textbook. So as we have seen the number of distribution of marks for each unit in part 1, part 2 textbook. So the number of teaching hours, part 1 textbook is 70, part 2 textbook is 80, and total marks is similar, that is 70 and 80. Thus your question paper will be set for 150 marks and maximum marks you have to attain, that is maximum marks you have to attend is only 100. So there will be a chance of extra 50 marks in your question paper. That means they will give options in your question paper. So choose properly particular section and questions related to each chapter and gain center in your examination paper. Now let's see the pattern of your question paper. So the pattern of your question paper or your question paper contains 5 sections, that is part A, part B, part C, part D and part E. So part A is for 1 mark question, part B is 2 mark question, part C is 3 marks, part D is 5 marks and the last section is 10 marks. That is, it is given in the form of 6 plus 4. You will be having 2 sub-questions for each question. Now, as I said, there are 5 sections A, B, C, D, E. The maximum marks you have to attend is 100 and the time allotted for your examination is 3 hours 15 minutes. So that is first 15 minutes to study your question paper thoroughly and the next remaining time is given to write the question paper and the next remaining hours is given to write the solutions or answers to your question paper. Now, let's see the pattern of your question paper. So, as I said, there will be 5 sections, part A, part B, part C, part D, part E. Part A is 1 mark. So, this is clearly 1 mark question, 2 mark question, 3 marks question, 5 marks question and 10 mark question, which is divided in the form of 6 plus 4. Now, number of questions given in each section, number of questions you have to answer and the total marks for each section is given. Now from part A, that is 1 mark question, there is 10 questions. So you have to attend all the 10 questions to gain 10 marks. So therefore for each question, for single question, you will be having 1 mark. So 10 into 1, 10 marks. So there will be no options here. Next is part B section, which is a 2 mark question here and there will be given 14 questions. You have to write only 10 questions. So there is 4 extra questions here. So that is, choose any 10 questions out of 14 questions. You can also attend extra questions. Now, the best 10 questions are awarded. So therefore, 10 into 2, 20 marks. Now, part C section also contains 14 questions where you have to choose any 10 questions. Here also you have 4 extra questions. Again, as I said, you can attend all the questions when there is time to you to write. But the best 10 questions are choose to give marks. Now, so 10 into 3 is equal to 30. Next is part D section, which is a 5 mark question. So here they'll give you 10 questions of 5 marks each, but you have to attend only 6 questions. Here also you have 4 extra questions. So choose any 6 for 5 mark question. So to gain 30 marks in this section. And the last section has only 2 questions and each question has 2 sub-questions. So that is question number 49 and question number 50. 49 AB, 50 AB you have. So you have to attend either 49 or 50. You cannot choose 49A, 50B like that. You should attend one complete question, either question number 49 or question number 50. So choose any one. So one extra question is left. So for one question, you will be having 10. So here overall marks is 150, but when you calculate this, so here for all the questions here, you are going to gain only 100 here. So 100 out of 150 is what the maximum number you can score in your question paper. And here the total number of questions given is 50. So you are attending only 37 questions. That means you have 13 extra questions here. 13 extra questions to attend. And one more thing is, Part D and Part E section must be concentrated only on particular chapters. No need to study entire syllabus for 5 marks as well as 6 marks question. For 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark question, so you can clearly see the blueprint and you can analyze what are the chapters we have to concentrate for 5 marks as well as 10 mark question. Now let's see the sample blueprint where the questions as well as the marks is distributed to each unit. Now here is the sample blueprint here. As I said already, you will be having maximum 3 hours 15 minutes to attend the solutions or answer in your question paper, and maximum marks you have to attend is 100 out of 150 marks. And here is a chapter. All the 13 chapters are given from part A as well as part B. So these are the lessons from part A and these are the lessons from part B section. Now from the chapter relations and function, now I have already said you the number of teaching hours is given here. So which will be total of 150 hours, and the number of marks given in each chapter is given here. Again, this is total of 150 marks. Now let's see what are the type of question we will get from this chapter. So from the chapter relations and function, there is 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 5 mark, 6 marks and 4. So 6 plus 4, I said this is completely part E section. That is in total these two is nothing but it's a 10 mark question. Now you have 1 mark question, 1 2 mark question, 1 3 mark question and 1 5 mark question. So this is how you will analyze. So let's analyze it. What are the chapters we should concentrate only for the 10 marks? So 6 plus 4 means you can clearly see. So 4 mark question is from the chapter that is determinant and continuity and differentiability here, and these are the 2 chapters, that is the integrals as well as the linear programming. So you should concentrate only these 4 chapters for 10 marks. That is integrals, linear programming, determinants 4 mark question, and that is continuity and differentiability 4 mark question. So just study only the questions of 4 marks and 6 marks from this chapter. Hence you can attend part E section. Now let's see what are the chapters given only for 5 mark question. So these are the chapters here for 5 mark questions. So as I said, you will be having 10 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you have to attend any 6. You can clearly choose only 6 questions here and study it thoroughly and just attend only 6 questions. So when you are confident enough, thus studying only 6 chapter, you can only concentrate or choose any 6 chapter, study only those questions and attend all the questions clearly. Or else you can also study all the 10 chapters of 5 marks question each, and you can also attend extra marks. Now let's see here. You can see relations and functions, matrices, determinants, continuity and differentiability, applications of derivatives, integrals, applications of integrals, differential equations, 3-dimensional geometry, and the last is probability. So these are the lessons given only for 5 marks question. So you can choose any 6 lessons and study it thoroughly and attend all the 6 questions. Or you can also study extra 2 questions or all the 10 chapters and attend extra questions also, so that the best of 6 will be chosen to give you the marks. Next is the remaining is all about 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark question. So here again 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark question will be simpler when you understand and learn the concepts thoroughly of each chapter. So clearly you can see the distribution of marks and how many number of questions will be given from each chapter. As I said already, from relations and function, from inverse trigonometry, 1 mark, 2 marks and 1 3 mark question, totally 8 marks. Again, matrices, 1 mark, 1 3 mark question, and along with that we have 1 5 mark question. Determinants, 1 mark, 1 2 mark question. Next, continuity and differentiability is 1 mark question, 2 marks question, 2 3 mark question. So total, along with that we have part D, which is a 5 marks and 4 mark question, total 20. Next you have application of derivatives, 1 2 mark and 1 3 mark question. Integrals, 1 mark 1, 2 mark 2, 3 mark 2, along with that 1 6 marks and 1 5 mark. Next you have application of integral, 1 3 mark question along with 1 5 mark question. Next is differential equation, 2 marks 1, 3 marks 1, 5 marks 1. Next is vector algebra. You have 1 mark question and 2 marks question 2, 3 marks question 2. Next is 3-dimensional geometry. So that is you have 1 mark, 1 2 mark, 1 3 mark as well as 1 5 mark question. Linear programming, 1 mark question and 1 6 marks question. And the probability is 1 marks 1, 2 marks 1, 3 marks 1, 5 marks 1. So this is how the marks according to your section wise is divided in this blueprint. So as I already said, for 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, learn the concepts according to the blueprint given in the particular chapter. So it will be able to plan smartly to write in your question paper and concentrate only on the particular chapter for part D as well as part E section. That is, choose which is the best chapter you can learn and attend only those questions to gain, that is 5 marks as well as 10 mark questions. I hope you have clearly understood about the introduction class of today's session. Good luck to you all for your second PUC mathematics. We'll meet you in the concept classes. Until then, keep watching, keep learning, keep exploring. Thank you.